Students from Bhutan and New Hampshire interviewed a variety of people about the environment and changes to the land. Here is Pema Namgyal of the Royal Thimphu College.
For centuries, people have been working on farms to grow their food. This is how people normally connect themselves with nature. Their relationship with the nature is completely dictated by climatic patterns. As a matter of the facts, climate pattern is not constant and it has been changing over the past millennia. However, in the recent time, the change has been more drastic, often attributed as anthropogenic causes. The major effects of climate change are rise in the average global temperature due to increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration. Depending on where you are, the impacts of such radical atmospheric change could influence your daily lives. There is an enormous scientific data on impacts of climate change, but how does it impact individual persons at different locations are hard to point through scientific data. In addition, scientific facts are often loaded with data and hard to communicate with general public. So, through informal interaction with communities in Bhutan and Upper Valley, Vermont, we talked with them with the aim of understanding how climate change impacts the daily lives of people living in these areas. Amlhamo is a farmer in rural Sirang, 6 hours drive from capital city of Bhutan. She and her family make living by farming this piece of land in subtropical region. She's talking about how the weather pattern is changing. She talked about how there is no rain during the rainy seasons and how during the dry seasons there is lots of rain. Such patterns makes the climate so unpredictable and hard for them to determine the right time for cultivation.
त्यसो त अहिले पहिला भन्दा धेरै फरक भएको छ गर्मी पनि बेसी आको जस्तो लाग्दैछ अनि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि होला सुन्तलाहरु पनि यस्तो गरमले मरेको होला हजुर गरमले बिग्रेको होला जस्तो लाग्दैछ बेसी पहिला भन्दा अहिले अलिक बेसी गरम जस्तो लाग्दैछ आफैले विचार गर्दा.
Next, we are talking to our neighbor, and he experienced similar impacts of climate change on his orange orchards. He thinks that the average rise in temperature in their hometown has led decreasing yield in orange trees. Plants require certain range of temperature for them to be more productive. However, now with the rise in temperature, there could be shift in a range of orange suitable climatic zones. Orange is one of the main cash crops in Sirang, and reduction in their yield could impact livelihood of the poor farmers in their locality. Next, we asked another farmer whether he has observed any changes in the yield of other cash crops like rice.
धान मकैहरु अब फल्दैछ फल्न त तर किनभने अहिले मौसमले गर्दाखेरि पानी कमजोर भएर धानमा अलिक त्यति धान फल्नु छोड्यो पानी भनेको बेला आउँदैन मकै पनि फल्दैन अनि अरु हेर्यो भने के छ भने पहिले भन्दा अहिले अब जमिनहरु रुखी भएर गयो मलजल गर्नु सक्यो भने त त्यहाँ फल्छ मलजल गर्नु सक्दैन जन छैन.
He has noticed less rain during the paddy cultivation time over the past decades, and that has led to reduced productivity. He goes further and explains that it is the same situation with maize plantation. He also has noticed changes in the soil fertility over the past decades. Increasing frequency of heavy rainfall during the dry seasons might have washed away thin topsoil, leading to loss of soil fertility. In Vermont, Carl, who is running a small-scale integrated farm at Randolph, too seems to have noticed the change in the climatic patterns during the past years.
What I see here is that our spring and fall have expanded. So the spring and fall weather, the transition from hot, dry summer to cold, snowy, frozen winter have expanded both on the, in the fall and in the spring. So what we end up with is a short, not that cold winter and a late and varied summer. So like this year our gardens have been wet getting started, so we've gotten some slow starts on some of the vegetables, so we may not have very much corn this year, but we're going to have a lot of potatoes. So
instead of having like row crops, we're feeding our animals pasture. That pasture sod was able to handle all that rain. So that did, the impact on our farm was not as great as it was on other farms with all this excessive rain.
However, Carl and his wife have been practicing climate-resilient farming practices to adapt to the changing situations. Climate change also shifts range of normal distribution of plants and animals worldwide. This applies even to disease-causing organisms. Increase in habitat range of the disease-causing organisms can have negative impact on the farmers. We talked with Tim Taylor at Crossroads, Vermont.
Yeah, tomato hornworm was I can't attribute that. We didn't used to have it here. We didn't have the tomato hornworm for the first 15 years or so, maybe 20 years that we farmed. And then all of a sudden, this strange thing appeared, and they're kind of frightening. I don't know if you've ever seen one.
Throughout the world, farmers must deal with changes in rainfall, rising temperatures, decreasing crop yields, and pests. Soon, as climate change worsens, the hardships these farmers must face will surely increase as well.